Jeffree Star is one of the most influential people in the beauty industry today, but the makeup artist and CEO of his own makeup line has stirred up more than his fair share of drama over the last few years. He's made a ton of enemies along the way, so many actually that not all of them could even fit into this list. But damn, I gotta say, Jeffree does make some pretty darn good lipstick, doesn't he? You are about to hear the top 10 enemies of Jeffree Star. Welcome back to InformOverload. I'm Charlotte Dobre, and yo, listen, I love me some Jeffree Star cosmetics. I literally waited in the line to get the Conspiracy palette for 2 friggin' hours, and at the time of this recording, I am still waiting and refreshing the page. But even though I recognize that Jeffree Star is a brilliant businessman, brilliant makeup artist, and a damn good CEO, I also recognize that he's basically like the Tasmanian devil of the beauty community. Oh, shots fired! Yes, I said it, but you know I'm right. Subscribe for tea spilling lists and fresh trending news, and follow us on social media so we can connect outside of YouTube. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video where we do comment features and bonus content. It's usually bloopers of me burping. Let's get into this tea, shall we? Starting things off at number 10, Gabriel Zamora. About a year after Dramageddon, Jeffree and Shane Dawson released their first series together in August of 2018, where Jeffree said, "Half of the people still think I'm the bad guy, when I only loved and cared about all these people, boosted them up and gave them all my connections. But I'm still the effing bad guy." Gabriel Zamora responded a few days later by posting a photo with Laura Lee, Nikita Dragun, and Manny MUA, all flipping the bird with the caption, "Bitch is bitter because without him, we're doing better." It was pretty clear to fans who the tweet was directed to, Jeffree Star. Zamora also fired off another tweet that said, "Imagine standing a racist. I could never. Honey, every time I was around him, he would constantly say racist things about black people." And well, people started digging into Gabriel's past and found him using the N-word in a tweet from 2012. After the whole Dramageddon thing and everybody released those really nasty, snotty apology videos, Gabriel ended up siding with Jeffree and apologized in a video called My Truth. But Gabriel was also one of Jeffree Star's most vocal critics during the James Charles takedown. As far as I know, the two still aren't on speaking terms. At number 9, Laura Lee. Jeffree once responded to a fan who was defending Laura on Twitter by saying, "You know nothing about her personality, her soul is pure evil." The tweet is now deleted, but I got the screenshot. Then Laura started liking angry fan tweets about Jeffree, like one that said, "I don't care what some grown dramatic man who can't keep a friendship wants to tweet about Laura Lee." No one really knew what happened between them. Most people think it's because Jeffree didn't invest in Laura's brand. When her racist tweets were exposed and she posted quite possibly the worst apology video ever, Jeffree, threw some major shade, so I'm assuming they're not friends still. And at 8, Manny MUA. Stay with me because this one is pretty confusing. I think I got it right, but let me know if I did get it wrong in the comments. Manny and Jeffree used to be really good friends. I believe the beef began in November in 2017 when Lee and Manny forgot to wish Jeffree a happy birthday. The beef got really heated in 2018 with the "bitch is bitter" picture, and Manny lost thousands of subscribers. He left social media for a few months, then a year later Manny posted a video called "I was cancelled last year." Then after Manny's video, Jeffree talked about fake friends in one of his videos, and then Manny posted the video "My Wake Up Call," and then afterward Jeffree went on a Twitter tirade where he accused Manny of posting about his mental health for publicity. Jeffree said Manny was pathetic and a sociopath. Manny maintained that he wasn't just talking about mental health for views, and judging by Shane's newest series on Jeffree, it doesn't really seem like he's ready to forgive and forget. At lucky number 7, James Charles. I'm not gonna spend a heck of a lot of time reviewing Jeffree and James's feud because let's be honest, you're all here because you're fans of the beauty community and you all know already. But despite the fact that Jeffree and James have smoothed things over since Jeffree publicly called James a predator and danger to society, the two are not exactly on speaking terms. I appreciate that Shane and Jeffree chose not to address the drama with James Charles in their series, but didn't you guys notice how they featured a shot of James's subscriber count dropping in the trailer, yet they never once talked about the drama? Jeffree did say in his Never Doing This Again video that he regrets what happened. Maybe he didn't want to rehash something that he really regrets, or maybe he didn't want to add fire to another feud that the internet thinks is happening behind the scenes right now. On that note, next up at number 6 on our list, Tati Westbrook. Well, I am definitely surprised that Tati made it onto this list considering Jeffree and Tati seemed thick as thieves during their takedown of James Charles, but I digress. The beauty community thinks Jeffree Star and Tati Westbrook are feuding right now for a few reasons. Number 1, Jeffree unfollowed Tati on Instagram. I love how like an unfollow is like the ultimate shade throw without actually saying anything. It's like, "Oh bitch, you unfollowed her. Oh, Oh, it's real, isn't it? I just don't f with you, okay? Reason number 2, Tati also recently released her own beauty line, Tati Beauty. Jeffree didn't congratulate her and didn't review it on his channel. Tati also didn't congratulate Jeffree on his palette with Jeffree Star. And reason number 3, both Jeffree and Shane's Conspiracy palette as well as Tati's palette have been released at almost the same time of year, just a few days apart. We all know how Tati doesn't like competition. Oops. Glug glug glug. Jeffree and Tati have not confirmed publicly that they are feuding, which is why this one isn't higher on our list, but I mean, the evidence is pretty sus, not gonna lie. Halfway there now at number 5, Makeup Shayla. This feud has actually been reignited recently after Jeffree called Shayla's line of basic products, quote, trash. So this feud began when Star and Shayla were at an event where Jeffree said that Shayla told another beauty guru, Marielle, I'm sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly, but anyways, that she needed lip injections because her face was disproportionate. Damn dude. That's savage. Jeffree then went on Twitter to defend Marielle and called Shayla an Instagram nobody and the C word. He also threatened her with physical violence in this tweet. Shayla never admitted to her remarks, but Jeffree leaked a DM conversation between he and Marielle where she thanked him for standing up for her. At number 4 on our list, Jackie Aina. Back in 2018, Jackie posted an open letter to Jeffree Star on her Twitter account where she said that she would no longer overlook his racist behavior. She said in the letter, I quote, I have not and will not excuse his blatantly racist behavior and not his past references to me in derogatory terms, his use of the N-word, nor his efforts to eliminate spaces and opportunities for people of color. No one in the community should feel like they are protected enough to continuously say things to make black women feel ugly and ashamed in their own skin. This letter was a response to leaked text messages between Jeffree and his former hairstylist where he refers to Jackie as a quote gorilla. Jackie also featured Jeffree Star Cosmetics in her anti-haul video. And Jeffree never apologized, he just responded to Jackie by blocking her on Instagram, and he also called her an irrelevant rat. He said, I blocked that irrelevant rat months ago, way before her anti-haul. People use my name when their channels are stale. Worry about your career, not why someone blocked you. There's honestly a lot more to it, but as far as I know, Jeffree never apologized, and yeah, they still hate each other. In at 3, Too Faced founder Jared Blandino. Back in 2017, Blandino made comments that alluded to him being the person responsible for the unicorn makeup trend. The call out and backlash was so savage, Blandino had to disable comments on his Instagram page. Jeffree also called out Jared Blandino on Twitter for underpaying Nikki Tutorials. In 2016, Nikki Tutorials collaborated with Too Faced on a makeup palette that made Too Faced around $9 million, but Nikki only made about 50 grand from the collab. This is also something Jeffree mentioned recently in his series with Shane Dawson. To top it all off, Jeffree got into a public feud with Jared Blandino's sister when she called Jeffree's makeup line clown makeup. Getting close now at number 2, Kylie Jenner. Jeffree and Kylie's beef seems to have started when Kylie launched her own makeup line, the same makeup line that made her the youngest self-made billionaire ever. In April of 2016, Jeffree called out Kylie Jenner's lip glosses for having defective brushes, something other customers reported as well. Then a month later, Jeffree accused Kylie of overcharging for her lip kits in an interview with Racked. Kylie allegedly makes $5 formula but charges $20 or more. Then Jeffree called her out for using the same concealer packaging as his lipsticks. In 2018, Kylie removed Jeffree from her PR list. Later that year, Jeffree included Kylie Cosmetics in his infamous video, Full Face of Brands That Hate Me. March 2019 comes around when Kylie was named the youngest self-made billionaire by Forbes. Jeffree responded to this tweet by dictionary.com, I declined the feature, so they had to pick someone. Not sure how that makes sense though, because Jeffree is in his 30s and Kylie Jenner is 22, ergo he would not be the youngest self-made billionaire. Is he even a billionaire? I don't know. And the number 1 enemy of Jeffree Star on our list, Kat Von D. I will never forget the summer of 2016 when Kat Von D very publicly dumped Jeffree Star. Kat Von D was to Jeffree what Tati was to James Charles. She was his mentor and they were friends for more than 10 years, but she publicly severed ties with him for quote, promoting drug use, racism, and bullying. She also uploaded a YouTube video called Jeffree Star, It's So Much Easier to Do the Right Thing. In this video, she goes into a lot of detail about why she can't stand Jeffree, but the straw that broke the camel's back was she introduced Jeffree to a guy called BJ Betts, who designed Jeffree Star's logos. She shows the camera the original sketches that BJ supposedly did. Jeffree allegedly never paid BJ for the logos that he still uses on his cosmetics to this day. Anyways, this feud is one of the reasons why there's all those old videos floating around of Jeffree making offensive comments and racial slurs. No one would have even bothered to look those up if it weren't for the Kat Von D. The beef between Jeffree and Kat still lingers to this day. Just to clarify, I do think he did pay BJ for his work, though. as far as I know. I don't really remember. Didn't look into it, doesn't really matter. Just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Alright, the tea was hot today. I really hope Jeffree and Shane continue being friends. Not sure how that's gonna work out, but they seem like really good friends, so hopefully Shane doesn't end up on the next one of these lists. Did you guys manage to get your hands on the conspiracy palette? Use some Tanacon for me because I really wanted that shade. Like, I really wanted it. I'm gonna try and refresh the page a few more times. For now, I'm gonna wrap up this video with some comments from my video, the top 10 scary truths about the beauty community you need to know. Jasmine T said the beauty community sounds like high school all over again. Yeah girl, and I was never part of the cool crew, but it's fun to criticize them, isn't it? Cassie Dodson said, I like you. You're weird like me. Weird in the best way. Cute. Thank you. Boss Feline said, don't we just love Charlotte exposing influencers? Ah, it brightens my day. That is why I'm here. I am here to serve you. Claudia Sushi said, scariest thing about the beauty community, James churros. Churros. Kinda want a churro. That is it for me, and thanks for watching. Stick around for some bonus content. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up. Please subscribe so we get to hang out every day. And I'm gonna see you in a future IO video. Got some bonus content? We got some bonus content today. Blah, 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 blah. Hello, can you go? Me. I wish they could see your face when you do this. Shut up. We are trying to film. What happens if I like go hiss at them? Think that I should do that? I'm gonna go hiss. He's basically like the Tasmanian devil of the beauty community. The perfect way to describe him. You know I'm right though. Forgot to wish Jeffree a happy birthday. What a bitch. Where's my teacup? Where's my teacup at? Give it to me. Thank you.
Jake Paul is no question one of the most hated people on the internet. And because of this, obviously he has a lot of enemies. Some of them YouTubers, some of them mainstream celebrities. But honestly, a lot of it's his own fault, as he makes enemies of whoever he can to get media clout. I'm Mackenzie, you're watching InformOverload, and let's get into the top 10 enemies of Jake Paul. Starting off at number 10, we have the Martinez twins. The people that just all around make Jake Paul look the worst are former Team 10 members, with them usually making juicy videos on why they left the squad. The worst of them was from the Martinez twins, who were brothers from Spain, who were invited by Jake Paul to come and live with him in LA, and they were part of the OG squad, even getting a part in the massive It's Everyday Bro music video. But when they decided to leave, they made a scathing video against Jake, talking about all the reasons that they left and pointing the finger at Jake as the root of the issue. Apparently when they came to LA and didn't speak much English, other members of the squad would talk behind their backs and laugh at them. Then they talked about a terrible prank orchestrated by Jake, where Jake destroyed their room in order to shock them. As a response, Jake called them out for trashing him publicly instead of talking privately. At the time, it ended with them all working things out. But the real end came from Nick Crompton, who revealed that the pranks were all fake, and the Martinez twins knew the room was going to be destroyed as they built that fake room for the purpose of destroying it, basically making them flat out liars. In at number 9, Alyssa Violet. Alyssa was Jake's most famous ex until his fake wedding with Tana happened, and at the time they broke up, Team 10 was on fire, with many wondering how the content house even worked. When Alyssa and Jake broke up, Alyssa answered those questions in a long video, where she admits that she was mentally and even somewhat physically by Jake, with her mentioning that he would string her along for videos while he was hooking up with a new girl every day. Then she revealed how he would always take physical jokes too far, hurting her at one point. She lastly revealed how Jake took 20% from all his friends and enforced strict rules to live in the house. And at number 8, Logan Paul. One of the worst feuds Jake has been in was with his older brother, Logan. Logan's generally more successful and well-liked than Jake, and that obviously causes issues in their relationship, with Jake constantly trying to one-up his brother. And occasionally, Logan will fight back, like back when diss tracks were a thing, and the brothers made multiple diss tracks taking aim at one another, even bringing personal and family issues online where they had no place being. There's also the fact that Logan hooked up with Jake's ex, Alyssa, and that's the main reason Alyssa was kicked out of Team 10 and the whole house imploded. The brothers seem to be getting closer overall, but the fact that both of them have content houses with their own posses, both vlog and both now box, is obviously a recipe for disaster. And at number 7, Keemstar. It's somewhat Keemstar's job to talk badly about other creators when covering their drama, but the hate Keemstar seems to have for the Paul brothers is next level. And back in the day, he would cover any negative story about them. And he constantly comes for Jake and makes it clear that he doesn't like him. Like in this one tweet, where Keem wrote, quote, "I've never hated Jake Paul as much as I do today." He owed everyone an apologies for his actions, and instead he made excuses and virtue signaling to cover up his BS. If he's innocent as he claims, then release all the raw footage to prove it. You can't, you won't, cause you lie. And at number 6, KSI. Even though KSI and Jake didn't start out as enemies, Jake has made an enemy out of KSI, with all the trash talking he does about him. KSI fought Jake's older brother Logan in a huge boxing event, where Jake fought KSI's younger brother, Deji. But after Jake won, he kept calling out KSI, saying that Jake would do anything to fight KSI next. After his older brother Logan lost to his second fight to KSI, Jake is even hungrier than ever and wants to avenge his family's name. Halfway number 5, Conor McGregor. A new enemy of Jake's is definitely Conor McGregor, as Jake is doing everything in his power to get a fight with the UFC boxer, especially now that Logan will be fighting Floyd Mayweather Jr. Recently, Jake uploaded an insane 1-minute video disrespectfully calling out Conor for the fight, saying in the video, quote, "Good morning, Conor McGregor. My team sent you a $50 million offer this morning. 50 million cash proof of funds, the biggest offer you've ever been offered, but you're still scared to fight me. Conor, you're ducking me because you don't want to lose to a YouTuber. You're 0-1 as a boxer, I'm 2-0 as a boxer." Then going on to trash talk him some more, even bringing up Conor's wife and calling her a 4. And to make matters worse, after dissing Conor's wife, Dee Devlin, Jake Paul decided to follow her on Instagram, with her now being the only person that he follows. And I'm sure McGregor wants to knock him out right about now. And at number 4, Austin McBroom. Another one from the boxing world, but Austin has made an enemy out of Jake and his brother when he challenged them both to a fight. Austin called Jake Paul, Logan Paul, and Bryce Hall weak, weak AF, and weaker on Instagram. Austin wasn't done though, and he uploaded a photo to his Instagram where he called out Jake by name, writing in the caption, quote, "There's a whole lot of boxing talk going on lately. I've been an athlete my entire life, so it would be disappointing for me not to get involved. Jake Paul have been running for me for years. I got $5 million for whoever steps into the ring with me." And then Jake clapped back, writing savagely, quote, "I'd be more worried about your wife in my DMs." Then because he wanted to be even shadier, Jake posted a poll to his Instagram saying, quote, "Should I post the receipts with the options yes and no, don't home wreck?" Then in the meantime, Catherine posted a screenshot of that to her story, writing, quote, "I forgot you existed until my husband mentioned you today. Jake Paul, I'll be sending you an invoice for all this free publicity." But then she quickly deleted it. Then Jake responded to that by showing a message of Catherine in his DMs, with Catherine writing, "Delete your story, WTF," which I guess shows there might have been some proof to his claims. And this one is really wild, but I can definitely see this fight actually taking place. And at number 3, Gigi Hadid. This one is incredibly random, but Jake made an enemy out of Gigi Hadid when she had no choice but to call him out for his childish behavior. It all started when Jake and Gigi's boyfriend Zayn Malik had a confrontation at a Vegas hotel. After Jake tweeted out that he was gonna clap Zayn from One Direction, Gigi responded back, quote, "LOL, cause he doesn't care to hang with you and your embarrassing crew of YouTube groupies. Home alone with his best friends like a respectful king, cause he has me, sweetie. Unbothered by your irrelevant, ugly ass. Go to bed." And that was basically the bird of the century. And after that Jake had no choice but to sit down, with Jake tweeting out a semi-apology later, blaming it on the alcohol. And at number 2, Tana Mojo. Although Tana and Jake are on good terms now, there was a point in time where Tana made Jake look incredibly bad. This was after their fake wedding, where it was clear that Tana had real feelings, while Jake was just using her for clout. After they publicly got married, then split shortly after, Tana set things straight in a long and emotional video. In the video, she spills tons of tea about Jake and their relationship, and in summary, she says that her feelings were real, and she tried to be the cool girl and have an open relationship like he wanted, but it wasn't realistic for her, and she ended up getting her heart broken when he went partying in Ibiza with women for their honeymoon. And after all this, it really made Jake look like a clout-chasing ass. And the fact that Jake started dating Julia Rose like immediately after Tana also was just a really bad look. And finally, number 1, Disney. Disney definitely hates Jake Paul because they hate anything that makes them look bad, obviously. And Jake did that in spades when he embarrassed the company so bad that he was fired from the hit Disney show Bizarre Bark. The story here is that when Jake was becoming popular on Vine, he also wanted to try his hand at acting, and he was cast on Bizarre Bark. But since Jake started Team 10 and vlogging around that same time, it wasn't long before his online life started to negatively affect his Disney Channel show. After a massive slew of bad press, Jake and Disney released statements that they had parted ways. with Disney saying in their statement, quote, "We've mutually agreed that Jake Paul will leave his role." Jake also spoke about the matter on his Twitter, where he says that they mutually decided it was his time to leave and he would be pursuing social media full time. But even though the statements made it seem like they left off on a good note, we know that's not the case. And we learned later that he was fired from Disney for being a nuisance practically anywhere and everywhere. Alright guys, that's all for the list today. Let me know your thoughts below, and were there any people that I missed? Because I swear at this point Jake has made an enemy out of most YouTubers on the platform. I guess it's a good thing he's going into boxing then. And YouTubers can now work out their issues, you know, in the ring. But before I head out, I'm going to shout out some comments from the last roundup. Sandy said, like she woke up and chose stupid. I love when you add like the little like glitter. Oh my god. Yes, thank you for that comment. Then Nanation said, so no matter what Lizzo does, people still got something to say. I'm done with this world. I agree. It's really, really unfortunate. I feel really bad for Lizzo or anybody like that that makes body positivity part of her brand. Even someone like Adele. It's like, it's all anyone can talk about now. It's really unfortunate. Fluffy Pink Chaos said, wait, Bella Thorne was in touch at some point? When? I'm so sorry, I was mistaken. I think, yeah, just back in the day she was less badly informed. Now she's just off the rails. Then CL Brarely, sorry, I hope I said that right, said, I can't remember how I discovered I earlier on in 2020, but I'm very glad I did. Love you guys and all you do. See you next year. Cheers to 2021. Yes, thank you so much for that comment. It has been a crazy year. I know for me, I actually got hired this year, so I mean, crazy year for all of us. I cannot wait till 2020 is over. I'm sure a lot of you guys can agree with me on that. Alright guys, that is all for the video today. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it all the way here, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel down below if you liked and you want to see some more. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.
Her voice, man, like I don't like it. You know, it's too edited. It's auto-tuned. It's kind of annoying.
Oh yeah, and this just sounds so much better. I don't like her voice, man. It's like auto-tuned and like.
I don't think it's nothing to work out at this point. I beat her ass, so you know what I'm saying. Like she talking about she want to fight again. But it ain't nothing to fight, I already beat her ass.
Danielle Bregoli has only been around for about 3 years now. After going viral for telling a Dr. Phil audience member to cash her outside, the internet had a field day. Memes were made, merchandise was sold, and some of the biggest names in YouTube at the time, like Logan Paul, had gotten her in videos. It seemed like many viral things, Danielle was going to come and go. But that's not what happened. Instead, she managed to stay relevant and capitalize on her opportunity. Of course, that included her starting beef with a lot of people. You know, the classic way to stay relevant. What's going on, guys? I'm your host, Jared Bronstein, and welcome to InformOverload. Make sure to subscribe and click that bell to never miss a video, and drop me a comment down below with who you think would win in a fight. And we're talking a real fight between Danielle and Wovicki. We're talking like a regulated fight, whether it be boxing, MMA, or someone's backyard. At the end of the video, I'll be replying to some of my favorite comments from another video and showing you guys some bloopers, so be sure to stick around. And on that note, let's start off our list here. Ladies and gents, here are the top 10 enemies of Danielle Bregoli. Starting our list off at number 10, Barbara Ann Bregoli. That's right, her own mother is starting off our list. Now, though it seems like these two have worked together to turn Danielle into the budding rap star she's become as Bad Baby, unfortunately it doesn't seem like her mother is her best influence. Following their Dr. Phil debut, Danielle was sent to the ranch for about 4 months. While she was there, she completely turned around, became a great leader, and got along with the other girls. Then according to Dr. Phil, literally after just a night of being home with her mother, all the progress went down the drain. She regressed and went back to her original ways of hating everyone and always being angry. Dr. Phil blamed Barbara Ann for that, saying she was tracking down people talking poorly about her online and threatening them, getting Danielle involved too. Yikes. In at number 9, we got Lil Tay. It seems this beef was more so inherited through the feud Wovicki and Danielle had, but nonetheless, Lil Tay was certainly involved, just running her mouth as she's known to do. I'm not sure Danielle paid much attention to the little 9 or 10-year-old girl that was running her mouth at her, but with that being said, I don't think Danielle feels too fondly of Lil Tay. Then again, when comparing careers, I mean Danielle's been doing quite well for herself, and Lil Tay, well, she's not really a thing anymore. After the situation with her mom and her brother, it seems like Lil Tay is a thing of the past, and that in itself might be enough for Danielle to move on and forget about her and all the beef they had together. Coming at number 8, we got Soulja Boy. Now this beef is quite an interesting one. It all started on Twitter and seemingly out of nowhere. Not really sure what compelled Danielle to do what she did, but she randomly tweeted "F you" at Soulja Boy. Simple as that. I don't know. She's Danielle and she does what she wants. Obviously Soulja isn't going to take that from a random 13-year-old who went viral for being on Dr. Phil, so he responded "F you too, ugly little bitch." Imagine that, a 13-year-old and a grown man fighting on Twitter. What a world. Danielle responded with, "I made more money this week than you did last year. Go cuddle with your Draco, ho." And that seemed to be the end of that. What's even more interesting is Soulja and Danielle apparently now have a song in the works, so not really sure where the beef stems from and when or how it ended, but apparently we've all moved on. Number 7, we got Kim Kardashian. I won't lie, I wasn't expecting it either, but apparently there's some serious beef here, depending who you ask, of course. Kim apparently has no idea who Danielle is, which obviously Danielle has a problem with. In March of 2019, Paper Magazine tweeted a photo of Kim and Danielle sitting together, captioned, "I think about this a lot." Danielle then retweeted the photo and captioned it, "I don't." But there's much more history to it than just that. Back in 2017, TMZ asked Danielle about the Kardashians and Jenners, to which Danielle said, "Bitch, I would whoop every Kardashian there is," and then said Kim is only famous because of her leaked sex tape with Ray J. The photo you see is apparently from July of 2017, which Bergoli explains was taken after a mutual friend introduced her to Kim while they were getting lunch at the same spot. Kim, however, claims Danielle was introduced to her as a fan, along with others, and she was just being nice. Of course, Danielle responded to that claim saying, "Why people lying like you know who I am? The I could have popped one of your titties while I was sitting next to you, and I was nice, and I didn't do that So, you know, that's that." So nice of Danielle not to do that to her. Number 6, we got Rice Gum. Now, it's slightly confusing how this all started, but like many feuds, Danielle just seems to have a hard time taking criticism or having anyone really talk about her. So apparently Danielle dropped a video making fun of Jacob Sartorius, which led to Jacob and Rice Gum putting out a video reacting to it. Then they made a diss track, and it seemed to start a feud between Rice and Danielle. A lot of tweets were sent, a ton of YouTube videos / diss tracks were made, and it seems as of today the two of them still aren't on the best terms. Rice has called Danielle a handful of names I won't repeat, but you can be sure Danielle did the same thing to Rice, but you know, much worse because, I mean, like, you know, she's a savage. Coming at number 5, we got Dr. Phil. Of course this man was going to be on the list, how could he not be? Not to say that they have beef, but I mean, considering how she told Dr. Phil on his show that she made him and that he was nothing before she came on, I don't think our boy Phil feels too kindly toward her. I mean, he fully called out her mom for ruining all the progress she made when Danielle was sent to the ranch for 4 months, and he told Joe Rogan he takes no credit or blame for her success. And although Dr. Phil admits he's never listened to her music, he still doesn't understand how she's gotten so famous, telling Rogan it makes no sense. I'm sure when asked about Dr. Phil, Danielle has some choice words for him to say the least. In number 4, we got Iggy Azalea. Like most, if not all of her beefs, it seems this one started with Danielle just calling out Iggy. In her song Hi Bish remix, she called Iggy a broke bitch. Iggy responded on Instagram, and then they had a run-in at Cardi B's Fashion Nova party. That's when Danielle threw a drink at Iggy, and then the beef really took off. The two went at it over Instagram, and then Iggy dropped a video called Sally Walker, which shows a redhead getting hit by a car, and the rest of the music video taking place at her funeral. Iggy also raps, "You ain't gonna do shit, you just act ratchet, and play with me, you gonna get backhanded." So, I feel like maybe that was aimed at Danielle? Maybe? What do I know? In at number 3, Spirit Airlines. After Danielle's mother, Barbara Ann, got into an altercation with another passenger on Spirit Airlines, Danielle got involved throwing hands. This altercation led to all 3 women being escorted off of the flight, and Danielle and Barbara Ann getting a lifetime ban from flying with Spirit Airlines. Of course, after the incident, you know Danielle went to Instagram to not only explain her side of the story, but talk about how awful Spirit Airlines is and how much she hates them. Because, you know, she can never be in the wrong. I feel like making this video alone will get her to come after me. Which, I don't know, that'd be kind of funny, I think. Like if she was like tweeting at me like, "You dumbass, Prince Eric looking bitch." I don't know, I'd be like, that's me. So, coming at number 2, Ira Peskowitz. For those of you unaware, Ira is Danielle's biological father, and the two seem to have less than an ideal relationship. Ira claims his daughter is simply being exploited for money, and he wants to make sure she's properly taken care of. Danielle claims Ira hasn't been in her life and wants to be a part of it now that she's making money because he only sees her as a cash grab. Either way, it's a sad situation, but Ira did leave Barbara Ann to raise Danielle alone, and he went on to meet someone else and start a family with her. Ira has other children with his current wife, but according to him, he still wants to be a part of Danielle's life. She's not into it and has publicly said many times she wants nothing to do with her dad. So much so, she even went to court and allegedly made Ira give up his parental rights, giving Barbara Ann sole custody. And in at number 1, we got Whoa Vicky. These two have quite a history, which seems to stem from a guy. Vicky's side of the story is that she was hanging out with some guy named Malik that Danielle was into. She got jealous when she saw Vicky hanging out with him and decided to go after her over Instagram or Twitter. They've had a handful of run-ins, including their most recent altercation at a studio in Atlanta, which seemed to show Vicky on top of Danielle, giving her the good old 1-2. Danielle then called out Vicky, telling her to meet at another studio where they could fight one-on-one, and most recently said she'd be willing to fight Vicky in a boxing match similar to that of KSI and Logan Paul, but I don't see that happening in the foreseeable future. For now, it looks like the two will just have to continue dropping diss tracks aimed at each other and calling each other out over social media. And there you guys have it for the top 10 enemies of Danielle Bregoli, aka Bad Baby. Let me know in the comments below if you guys agree or disagree with this list. Make sure to subscribe and click that bell to be notified of all of our videos. And for now, let's reply to some comments from the video. Top 10 scary truths about influencers you need to know. Michael Shane said, "Thank God I avoid Instagram. It's pure trash." I disagree. You know, obviously you got the side that's trash, then you got the side of the girls that are showing some, you know, what they're showing. Also guys doing that too, but I don't really follow those people. And then, of course, you got the spicy memes. Only the best memes. Jeffrey Epstein memes. Incredible. There's other memes on there about, you know, football that I like to watch. Or hockey. Great. Netflix memes, social media memes in general, memes about men, memes about women. There's just memes everywhere. Carly K said this world has gone to literal hell. Trust no one online or on TV. Trust facts. Yeah, don't trust what you see online or on TV, but you could trust what you see on InformOverload, because that's facts, man. Crow29803 said, I'll be honest, I watch IO because I laugh. You guys are hilarious. Well, if you want to get a good laugh, check out these bloopers, because it's mostly me just trying to say things that Danielle says and laughing at how absurd they are. Enjoy the bloopers. Oh, I gotta talk about this f***ing idiot again. Here are the top 10 enemies of Danielle Bregoli. I'm f***ing enemy number 1 because I'm sick of talking about this shit already. God damn it. I'm just tired, man. I'm struggling to do this video. So he responded, F you too, ugly ass bitch. No, it's ugly little bitch. I just don't know how they're gonna f***ing, like, they're gonna bleep it all out. Like, how do I say this? What do I just say terrible things like? So he responded, F you too, ugly little. The fact that a grown man is saying this to a 13-year-old and he's calling her an ugly little bitch, I just think it's the funniest thing, dude. So he responded, F you too. This is the funniest thing in the world, dude. This is the 13-year-old on Twitter going, F you, and he's just like fucking, like it's Soulja Boy. He acts like a fucking tough gangster and he's like, F you too, ugly little bitch. Like, to which Danielle said, I could have popped one of your titties. What does this even mean? I could have popped one of your titties while I was... Yeah, man. Like, what does that mean? Is you gonna just fucking pop it like a balloon?
All of you guys know I move my hands a lot in my videos, and you know who else does too? James Charles, the man we are talking about today. Hi there, I'm Abby, and today I'm talking about the top 10 enemies of James Charles. It's been a great few years for him, no doubt, but would I be lying if I was to say he's, scandalous? No. So it turns out if you make friendships online, sometimes your arguments are online too, and James probably knows this. Before we get into it, I'd like to point out that not all of these people are current enemies. They felt the fire of animosity at one point, but may not have the same heat with it right now. But that's enough chit chat, we have a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. Starting us off at number 10 is Thomas Halbert. Now, this feud is a throwback all the way back to February of 2017. At that point, Thomas found out that James had unfollowed him after hanging out with some more popular YouTubers. And at that point, it was reasoned that possibly Thomas saw James as a social climber after hanging out with Jeffree Star and many MUA. Now, please remember that 2017 was another time. The whole Jeffree Star thing, we'll get into that later. But anyways, after Thomas realized this, he came after James on Twitter. While saying, I rebuke your tomfoolery, he came with receipts about James's yearbook photo. And this is the one he posted with the highlighter on, saying that he had to retake his photos. Anyways, Thomas posted a before and after of the edited photo and a text conversation that seemed to be with James. After all of this, there remains to be tension between the two, it kinda seems. So Thomas made a satire video recently entering James's new YouTube influencer competition, and James commented on it. Well, it looks like we have 1 out of 6. So, either James is playing along or he is trying to insinuate that Thomas is a small enough YouTuber that he is allowed to enter this influencer competition. Are they both in on the joke, or is this just more tea? Who knows? At number 9, we have Antonio Garza / Antonio Garza's fans. So with Antonio, this beef takes place back in 2018. In August of last year, many allegations came out that James was copying Antonio's editing style. The biggest point that solidified it for viewers of both channels was when James played Fortnite with his brother Ian. He started singing Breaking Free from High School Musical, and Antonio had already added that to her edit of a Fortnite video earlier. So then Antonio's fans were giving James the eye for a bit, kind of questioning, are you copying? But the two ended up collabing on a video. But this was then added to a list of videos of James annoying blank for 4 minutes straight, and I would put Antonio now in the frenemies category because just if you look at the top comment on the collab on Antonio's channel, it says Antonio Garza not paying attention to James Charles for 12 minutes straight. So maybe not total like enemy after like they resolve their beef, but there's something there. So on number 8, we have Ruben DeMade. So back in January, James took it to heart when a 13-year-old YouTuber, Ruben DeMade, didn't love his palette. In a video Ruben did with Amanda Ensing, he was not really enjoying James's palette. He pointed towards the fallout and the lack of pigmentation when it came to blending, and then when fellow YouTuber Amanda said in the video, is it us or is it the palette? Ruben said, I don't know, it can't be us though, surely.
Is it us or is it the palette?
I don't know, it can't be us, surely.
Not me.
It's not me, it's not
me. Okay.
Do not
Don't come
unsubscribe.
So, James wasn't really having that. So James went off on Twitter insinuating that Ruben bashed his palette for attention. It's as if people aren't allowed to have subjective opinions that go against his own. James said that Ruben was uninvited to a meet and greet Morphe event, but showed up anyway, and went on to take credit for James's fans showing up. Then Ruben said on Instagram that Morphe invited him directly and he wouldn't have gone if he knew it meant he would be stepping on someone else's toes. Plus, Ruben was just happy to be recognized at the event, it seems. In a now deleted Instagram post, he wrote, "Today was wild. I'm in utter shock. I went to @MorpheBrush's grand opening today and had absolutely no idea any of you would recognize me." So based off that, it just seems he was just happy to be recognized at any Morphe Brush's opening. Now after this whole debacle, it looks like James saw the power in coming after a 13-year-old boy with the influence that he has over his followers, so I'm glad he learned something from this. At number 7, we have Lauren Godwin. So from number 8 just before, we can see that James can be quick to flare up and protect his products and his brand. That was also the case with Lauren Godwin. So she destroyed his palette on TikTok, saying she did it because she saw other people destroying random things on TikTok and that inspired her. And so the day after she said that statement on her YouTube channel, James apologized to her publicly on Twitter. And so with that, you think that seems done, but then after the James and Tati drama, she posted another video destroying his palette on her YouTube channel. Maybe not done yet. Maybe an enemy. Okay, I know I dropped the big T name, Tati, but we aren't there yet. First, number 6, Marlena Stell of Makeup Geek. So in 2018, after the success of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson's first collab, James mentioned that he wanted to work on a doc exposing the truth of the beauty industry. Then in September of 2018, Marlena Stell announced on Twitter that she was filming a documentary with Netflix on the beauty industry. James was livid. He said so himself in a tweet. So he tried then, after publicly being livid, to reach out to Netflix and pitch his own documentary while putting down Marlena. So that original tension between James and Marlena came from the video Marlena posted where she exposed how much beauty YouTubers or influencers could make per post. So after all this on Twitter, Marlena tweeted back at James saying Netflix approached her and would like to have some of his input if he would like. So the text conversation is pretty long, but the tea really sits with Marlene telling James he's not even 21, and then James being sassy and saying, "Yeah, I'm not even 21 yet," as in he's done so much. Well, guess what, James? The trailer dropped and the doc appears to be about the chemicals and waste in our beauty product. So there's a lesson on assuming what is going to be covered in media. But let's move on to number 5. The cast of It. Now I hope we all remember this iconic moment when the entire cast of It decided to drag James. So in 2017, when the first movie came out, James went to see it and tweeted from the theater about 5 minutes in that it was awful. Now Finn Wolfhard found this and said, "Why are you on your phone? Rule 1. And then it didn't stop there. James decided to do a Pennywise look, probably because it was trending at the time, and yeah, guess who noticed? Another member of the It cast! So Wyatt Olef subtweeted James saying, "When you decide to exploit a movie that you hate for money and attention, cause why not?" And then James replied with 2 blue hearts and a "thank you, sister." So unbeknownst to James, the world doesn't revolve around him and his branding, so Olaf corrected him and said, "Brother, but okay." And then James said, "We're all sisters down here," with a little red balloon emoji, because sisters in reference to his fans calling sisters. But then another It cast member chimed in and said, "But stop though." And honestly, the whole back and forth just seems so funny, and I have seen a few people nominated for Twitter Moment of the Decade. Just to put that out there. At number 4, Tea Spill. So I believe James has said he doesn't like drama channels, but sister, there's so much tea about you. And you know, with tea comes tea spill. So during the time that people were questioning if the sister squad was still together, T-Spill released a video that questioned if James was shading Emma Chamberlain. Now on Twitter, he used an upside down smiley face in tweeting back at T-Spill, and it was just full of sarcasm. Then T-Spill wrote back, "Sorry, I forgot I needed your permission before reporting on a story," which I must applaud for a great clapback. But then James replied to that, "It is not a story if it's all cleared up, and would it be that hard to respect someone's wishes for once?" And James, sister, you complained once about a pay gap between celebrities and influencers. So if you want the fame and the money, honey, you've got to play the game. So there are sacrifices, and media attention is one of them. Yes. Literally another drama channel reported on this drama between James and T-Spill. And now I am. This is too meta, so we need to move on. Yeah, the YouTubers are always providing some tea it seems, so let's begin to address some of Dramageddon 2. And so this starts with our number 3, Gage Gomez. So James felt like he was being played by Gomez after they had been talking for a while. James said that Gomez said that he was bi-curious and wanted to explore their feelings, so they did so at Coachella. But then James felt used for a free Coachella trip when Gomez wasn't romantically interested in him. Gomez argued in a video on his own channel that he wasn't bi-baiting Charles, but was genuinely curious and wanted to figure out if he liked him. So obviously I don't know the whole story, but it seems like either way, no one owes you their romantic feelings, and it makes sense if you feel hurt, but that's not a reason to come after someone publicly. On to number 2, and still in the realm of Dramageddon 2, is Jeffree Star. Now, this is a feud that may be resolved, but let's take a look back to see what we can learn from it. So during the whole Tati debacle, Jeffree took a side. Blatantly. In a tweet, he called James a danger to society and backed Tati 100%. And this wasn't just a Twitter feud. James and Jeffree's companies severed ties as well. People noticed pretty quick when James's merch site was just down. And then James said in a video that it was actually he that cut ties with Jeffree's company, Killer Merch. Now, James then relaunched with Ultra Brand, as you can see in the bottom corner of his website, and you can see similar branding or labels on like Cody Co's and Noel Miller's website that they're represented by Killer Merch. So then later, Jeffree walked back his accusations in a video called Never Doing This Again, so hopefully this shows you all, again, to never assume things before you hear both sides of the story. And yes, obviously at number 1 we have Tati Westbrook. You can gripe all you want about something that one of your friends did, but it's another thing entirely to post all the reasons you dislike and don't trust someone online. Especially if it's before you have talked to them. It seems like many beauty gurus would rather send their followers to hate on their supposed friends online than confront their issues with one another. But that's just me. Personal. So that seems to be what happened with Tati. Of course, there are whole videos on this one situation, but the highlights of it are: James promoted Sugar Bear hair in order to get an artist pass at Coachella. His good friend and mentor Tati had rival vitamins and she felt betrayed. He released a public apology, and then she released a 43-minute video trying to take him down. Now, if that doesn't sound like friendship, I don't know what does. And okay everyone, that is the top 10 enemies of James Charles. And before I go, let's reply to some comments from the Tana photoshopping video. So Rebecca Ann said, "I love Tana for being so real in her videos. She is self-conscious even if she seems like nothing gets to her." And yeah, Rebecca, I feel like a lot of people are like that. Vulnerability isn't really embraced as much as I personally think it should be. But when it comes to people like Tana, I think it can only be harder for bigger influencers who get so much hate, and I would understand that they would use blocking it out as a coping mechanism, because you just feel like you gotta hide that it hurts you. So who knows what's really going on with these big people that are real people, you know? Next one, Random Channel said, "Photoshop is unnecessary, that's why so many people just like, oh, I gotta look this way." Also they said, "I do retouch my pic sometime though, ain't gonna lie." Which, thank you for your honesty. I think it's a pretty divisive topic since body issues are highlighted when we see ourselves so much, plus when we compare it to others, it doesn't really help. I personally love it when people leave their photos unedited, but again, that's just my opinion. Do what you want, but embrace your beauty. And the last one, a little lighter, Natalie Alonso said, "Is it just me or does Abby give off major Ginny Weasley vibes?" And to that I say it would be an honor, but I don't think I'm quite at that level. Ginny's just so much more.
The Ace family is the biggest family channel on all of YouTube, with them amassing close to 20 million subscribers as of now. And even though they obviously have a lot of adoring fans, they also have a lot of enemies. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm Mackenzie, you're watching InformOverload, and let's get into the top 10 enemies of the Ace family. Starting off at number 10, we have Jake Paul. We'll start off this list with some fresh tea regarding Jake Paul. So Austin McBroom looks to be getting into the boxing game, and he called out fellow YouTubers by name, calling Jake Paul, Logan Paul, and Bryce Hall weak AF, and weaker. Austin was not done though, and he uploaded a photo to his Instagram where he called out Jake by name, writing in his caption, quote, "There's a whole lot of boxing talk going on lately. I've been an athlete my entire life, so it would be disappointing for me not to get involved. At Jake Paul been running from me for years. I got 5 million for whoever steps into the ring with me." And then Jake clapped back savagely, writing, quote, "I'd be more worried about your wife in my DMs." Then because he wanted to get even shadier, Jake posted a poll to his Instagram asking, quote, "Should I post the receipts?" with the options yes and no, don't home wreck. Then in the meantime, Catherine posted a screenshot of that to her story, writing, quote, "I forgot you existed until my husband mentioned you today. At Jake Paul will be sending you an invoice for this free publicity." But then she quickly deleted that. Then Jake responded to that by showing a message from Catherine in his DMs, with Catherine writing, "Delete your story, WTF," which I guess shows that there might be some proof to his claim. And wow, I just hope that if there is any DMs going around, someone exposes those, that would be iconic. Oh my god. And at number 9, Logan Paul. Next up, we have Logan Paul, who was also called out in Austin's Instagram story. But Logan clapped back in a different way, saying he has way too much dirt on Austin, so he would never want to get into the ring with him. And damn, okay, Logan's got the receipts, I guess. With Logan saying on his podcast, quote, "It's a good play to get some attention quickly," because he did. He called out Bryce Hall, he called out me and Jake. He made a comment some like, "Yo, y'all been acting like vets when you've only been boxing for 2 or 3 years." But then the shade came, with Logan saying, quote, "We know too much. It's a dangerous game for Austin. It's a very dangerous game because it's so much more than just a fight. There's a lot of chirping. There's a lot that gets exposed. If you have something in your life that hasn't come out yet, trust me, it'll come out in a press conference." And damn, that means that the Paul brothers know some shady stuff about Austin. And if I were to guess, I would assume it would be around cheating. And at number 8, Bryce Hall. So Bryce Hall was another influencer called out by Austin for a boxing match. And even though Bryce hasn't been in a fight yet, he seems hungry to start. But Bryce didn't entertain the obvious clout chase, tweeting out after, quote, "Why did I see this 30-year-old man call me out on his Instagram story when he has my number? Don't you have a whole family to take care of, bro? I'd be embarrassed as a father if I were you right now." Then in another tweet adding, "Do people still know Austin McBroom?" Bryce addressed it further on Josh Richards' T-Talk segment, where he said that he was not planning to fight Austin for $5 million, but joking he might do it for more. Then also saying that Austin did himself dirty by posting really good pictures of the guys that he called weak because they all look more buff than Austin, which honestly is like a little bit true. And at number 7, Cole Kerrigan. There's no question that the person that the Ace family hates the most is Cole Kerrigan. That's because Cole brought to light allegations that Austin had cheated on Catherine countless times in the past, and also unearthed allegations that allegedly Austin had also forced himself on one of Cole's friends. It started when Cole sent out a very cryptic tweet saying how Catherine wasn't at Austin's birthday party, and that he had been out at clubs plenty of times without Catherine. Then he said that one night he got a call from one of his friends, in tears because Austin had just forced himself on her, with Cole showing text messages of strange interactions Austin had with other women, as well as a picture of bloody sheets after, an incident. Cole even showed that one of the alleged victims even received an anonymous text message telling her to stop talking about the Ace family. After all was said and done, Cole was outed by Keemstar as someone who was just looking for a payout from the Ace family. But that doesn't mean that everything that he said was a lie. And at number 6, H3. H3's Ethan and Ela Klein probably aren't high on his list of enemies, but I'm sure Austin does not like the couple because they openly talk about their dislike of the Ace family. They even did a segment of their popular content court series on the Ace family where they spent close to 2 hours talking about all the couple's scandals. And honestly, I forgot just how many scandals the family was in until I watched that video. And the consensus in the comments is that Austin is a terrible person, Catherine probably wants to leave, but she's not sure she can, and they do everything for content, which probably all that's true. Halfway at number 5, Brittany Broski. When Austin was called out by fans for not posting a video, he responded by getting angry and calling them ungrateful. In a slew of now deleted tweets, Austin said, quote, "Some of y'all are ungrateful for free content. Some of y'all should be charged every time you watch someone's video. I don't know why y'all think it's just so easy to make videos every day or every other day. If it was so easy, everyone including yourself would be doing it." And tons of fans and fellow influencers hopped on the Austin hate bandwagon to call him out. Brittany Broski, a TikTok star that goes by Kombucha Girl, wrote, quote, "Being a content creator is a dream job. You get paid to film yourself having fun. Get that nasty shit off my timeline. Be grateful for the life you have." And damn, she did not hold back, but I mean, facts were spoken. And at number 4, their neighbor. One person that exposed the hell out of the family with receipts was their neighbor. So the Ace family lives in a massive mansion in the hills, so naturally there are other people that live, above and below them. Well, since Austin made the incredibly mature decision to buy a jet ski and use it in their infinity pool, massive amounts of water are coming down from their house into their neighbor's property, even causing mudslides. A relative of the neighbor tweeted out to Philip DeFranco, saying, quote, "In the D-bag of the day be the YouTuber The Ace family for riding a jet ski in their pool and creating mudslides that destroy my uncle's property and grapes." Adding, quote, "They have done it multiple times and we told the city about it, but they continue to do so." And they also shared a video of it where you can see copious amounts of water falling down onto their property. The disrespect here is honestly just next level. Even worse, they didn't seem to care about the backlash at all and responded to that saying that they were just, quote, "living their lives." They are such trash. And at number 3, drama channels. This one's kind of a no-brainer, but obviously the family absolutely hates drama channels. The Ace family does their best to be incredibly two-faced, only showing the absolute perfect parts of their lives online, and keeping the rest of it far, far away from their viewers. But drama channels bring a lot of their bad actions to light, and put a platform behind all the people calling them out. And since I've never seen a drama channel say a positive word about the family, I'm sure they wishes that they would all just go away. And at number 2, Keemstar. Keemstar is one that I'm not too sure about, because in a way he makes their lives a living hell, but he's also somewhat stood with the family in the past. So obviously Drama Alert is the biggest drama channel, and when that whole scandal with Austin cheating and that allegedly being forceful with women came out, Keem was covering the drama, making Austin look terrible. Until Cole Kerrigan tried to make it seem like Keemstar was paid off $500,000 by the Ace family when Keemstar just made a bad joke. But that joke ended up unraveling the whole scandal and exposed Cole for trying to get money from the family to stay quiet, under the assumption that they just paid $500K to Keem. As a result, at the end of the scandal, Keem tweeted out, quote, "My prediction, Ace family gets away with it because it was all handled in the most irresponsible way ever by that clown," referring to Cole Kerrigan. And finally, number 1, Drew Gooden. Drew might not be someone incredibly high on their list, but Drew, along with other commentary channels, is known for roasting the family when needed. Like when they got in their scandal for saying it was cool to work at a restaurant for a day, just showing how disconnected from reality that they are. Drew tweeted out, quote, "Imagine being so disconnected from reality that you get this excited about pretending to work in a restaurant for 2 hours. Which even got the attention of Chrissy Teigen, who replied to Drew's tweet saying, quote, "Who are these people even?" He even made a massive video on the family called Losing Your Relatability, where the couple is clearly shown in the thumbnail. As of now, the critique of the family has 6.3 million views, so clearly it was well received. So guys, that's all for the list. Let me know what you're thinking down below. Were there any that I missed? I honestly just hope we got all the big ones at least. But before I head out, I'm gonna shout out some comments for my video on more bad news for Johnny Depp. So Becca said, there are multiple connections showing that the judge should have recused himself from the case. The most notable is that his son works for Talk Radio, which makes him an employee of Rupert Murdoch and a co-worker of Dan Wotton. Rupert Murdoch owns NGN, the first defendant in the case, and Dan Wotton, the second defendant on the case. Authored the article. Whoa, you came through with the absolute facts. Thank you so much for that. I'm sorry I didn't include that in the video. Thank you for commenting that. Then JJ said, remember people, do not harass Mass because he replaced Johnny. Anyone in Mr. M's position would accept the role. Boycott the movie if you wish, but do not harass innocent people. Could not agree more. Do what you want to do if you want to boycott the movie. If you don't, I respect that the studio was in a really bad position. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't give hate to anyone that watches the movie, no problem at all. Alright guys, that is all for the video today. Thanks so much for sticking around. If you made it all the way here, if you like the channel and want to see some more, make sure to like and subscribe below. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith, and I will catch you all in the next one.